I want to share, before I start, I want to share a quick story just to illustrate why we're here. So I'm going to share the story of the expert and the Muffin Man. Any of you ever heard the story of the expert? Not the Muffin Man from Shrek, but the expert and the Muffin Man. Anybody ever heard the story? Put up your hand. No. Okay, good. So I want you to imagine something, right? I want you to imagine that, let's say you all have somebody that you respect, or you maybe you follow them. Perhaps it's a writer, perhaps it's a speaker, anyone, cooking show, whatever. So imagine you saved up ticket to watch that person, and you saved up months and months and months, and you're queuing like in winter, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You're queuing outside. There's a long queue, and it's winter. You're standing there with everybody else, and then here comes a muffin man selling muffin and coffee, and this is his business model. He taps everybody on the shoulder: Shivani, Amy, Daniela, Sarah, Cora, Natasha, Sydney, Nolu, Maddie. Would you like a coffee and a muffin? And his business model is tap everybody on the shoulder. Eventually, somebody will say yes. You tap, somebody will say yes. But here's the problem with this business model. When he stops, when he goes home, that's it. No more sales. And tomorrow he has to do it all over again. Tap everybody on the shoulder. He does this by sheer number. That's how he makes sales. So that is like the worst way, because no work, no pay. However, on the other hand, there's the expert. The expert is the one that everybody's queuing to see. His business model is very, very different. Now, he's not there because he has something spectacular to sell, to push. He's there because you saw something valuable that he or she has to offer, whether it's knowledge, whether it's insight, whether it's a design, whether it's a thought. Now, the point of that story is, what I'm about to share with you today is to position ourselves as an expert, so we attract clients instead of like the muffin man, speak to anyone and everyone. It's very, very tiring. All right. So today, the whole point is, how do we position ourselves as an expert? I believe BrightSpark Tutors already is, because you've been around for 2 decades. So, but how do we refine that? Because every day there's a parent that for the first time the kids are entering high school. For the first time the kids are going to standard 8. For the first time the kids are failing math. Am I right? For the first time they're struggling. So even though BrightSpark Tutors has been around for a long time, we still need to re-educate them. And this is where the expert positioning came in now. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And that is, put up your hand if you feel like there are plenty of competition in the tutoring business. Put up your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everybody's put up their hand. Okay. Second question is, and I know some of you are newer. So those of you that's been here for more than 12 months, in the last 12 months, has it been easier or harder to get either new clients or to upsell current clients? Is it easier or harder? You can come off the mic. Easier or harder to get new clients or to onboard or to sell them continuous package? Anyone? Shivani? Is it easier or harder?
I don't classify, because I haven't been here for 12 months.
Okay. So you're taking a pass on the question.
Well, from my experience, it's been maybe a little bit more difficult to sell from when I started, I think.
Okay. And Amy, what do you think? Has it been easier or harder in the last 12 months?
I think for candidates, maybe a little bit different, because people are getting to know us a bit better, and the name is more, it's floating around a bit more. So maybe slightly easier to convince them, rather than in the beginning where I had to kind of reach out to every client, like tap them on the shoulder when I saw Facebook posts or any other kind of thing. But so maybe slightly easier, but I wouldn't say easier.
Okay. And Danielle?
Sorry, the mouse didn't want to click there.
Oh, Danielle just.
Well, from what I've seen, I'm not actually sure if it's easier or harder compared to previous years.
I guess you froze, so we'll come back to you later. Okay, Sarah, what about you? Do you think it's easier or harder in the last 12 months?
I don't think there's really been a measure that we can gauge it on. We certainly have had an uptick in the amount of clients that we have been onboarding, and that is thanks to obviously Shivani's wonderful role that Alicia assisted us with. So as far as converting clients are concerned, I think we're still in more or less the same boat. Even though we're having more feet in the door, it's still a kind of 50-50 margin.
Okay. And Cora, what's your observation?
I'm also still relatively quite new, but I think if I had to compare it to when I first started, I think maintaining clients has been a little bit harder. They do mention the competition a lot. So just in my experience, it has been a little bit harder to keep them in the boat, if I can put it that way.
Okay. Thank you. And Natasha, what about you?
I'm not as client facing as the others, but just from what I've seen rather than my direct experiences, I think I'm kind of same space as Sarah, where we've just been getting so many new leads that it's kind of difficult to say whether they've been more difficult to convince, because they've always been kind of a first-time tutor client has always been kind of a tricky person to convince that we're awesome. But I don't know. My gut doesn't feel like it's been more difficult. But I do also think that Cara might be onto something, that keeping them staying with us is difficult, because I mean we're not cheap, we're high quality, but the Woolies goes sort of before the Checkers does, you know.
Okay, that's a nice analogy. Thank you, Natasha. Sydney, what about you?
Also, same as Shivani, I can't really comment as yet because I haven't been here for long. But I have noticed that a lot of people will put their foot in the door, but then it's difficult to convince them to sort of go forward.
Thank you. Nolu?
I agree with Sarah and with Tash, and a little bit with Sydney. The thing is I think Shivani has helped us suss out who's serious and who's not serious, which has made it a lot easier for us to convert. But then at the same time, in those people that are super serious and very quick to respond, they don't always continue. So I've seen that not a lot of them stick around as much as what they used to. So they have like a set plan that, okay, it's only for this exam season, for example.
Okay. Maddie?
I think with returning clients, they're definitely not as frequent as they used to be a couple of years back. A couple of years back, you were sort of assured that when you sent the package complete, they'd go ahead immediately with another package. Now you get a lot of them saying, just hang on a minute, I'm waiting to see my finances. We've also had we have a better handle on it now, but a lot of poaching that's also going on. But luckily we've got our finger on the ball with that, and it's quite easy to spot the tutors that start doing it. But I do think, yeah, the clients now do need a little bit more of a push before they go ahead. But I think, unlike a couple of years ago, they're more comfortable now expressing, I just don't have the funds at the moment, but I'll get in touch when I am in a better space financially.
Okay. So basically, overall, everybody kind of, this is what I'm feeling like. Yes, Shivani's role helped a lot to set us out the thing. However, it's not, you have to work for it. You still have to work for it. Sarah mentioned it's more or less the same, but you have to work for it. It's not like, here's the money, here you go. So this is the issue that we have. There's lots of competition. It's not getting any easier. That's the bottom line. You still need to work for it. And third thing is, in the 12 years of school that you've had, you know, have you ever had a class, an actual class that taught you how to sell? Put up your hand if there was an actual class, primary school, high school, that taught you how to sell. Nobody, exactly, nobody. So this is the problem that I realized, that in the 12 years of school, we have never ever been taught how to sell. But yet, when we go for job interviews, when we speak to clients, even sending out newsletters, we have to sell. Because if we don't sell, there's no business. If there's no business, then this is it, you know. So that's the three problems I've observed. So, but there's good news, and that's what we're doing here today. So today for the next 45 minutes, we're going to work on how to discover your million rand sales story. How to discover your million rand sales story. The reason why I say that is the approach that I want to take is to get collective wisdom to build a sales story that everybody can own. Everybody said, you know what we like the sound of that. And the best part is this is going to be a unique sales story because nobody else on earth will have this sales story because it's from your own experience. And the reason why I call it a million sales story is because imagine what we're doing here is I'm teaching you how to build a burger. So the burger, there's the buns, there's the meat or veggie roll, whatever, salad dressing, etc., etc., etc. Once you learn how to build the burger, you can build any burger you want: chicken burger, vegan burger, bunless burger, whatever. And that's what I'm teaching you. So in other words, once you learn how to use this roadmap, you will be able to use this on a client call. You'll be able to use it to post blog posts, newsletters, one-on-one. The cumulative sell from using this method will be way over R1 million. I know this because I have 7 years of proof in my own business, in my own previous career, and with my current clients. So it's been proven over and over again. However, that being said, nothing's foolproof, which I'll get to now. And one of the questions I want to ask you is is this, that finish this sentence, that this is something that we can never avoid. Once you meet somebody either for the first time at a social event or even at a birthday, you haven't seen it for a long time, they're going to ask you, so what do you? Who wants to finish the sentence? What do you do? We cannot escape it. We cannot escape it. My question is, how many of us actually give thought about how to answer that? Because it can go two ways. Either, okay, that's cool, good seeing you, end of conversation. Or, wow, tell me more. Please come and see me. What do we do next? So that's what we're doing here. We want people to lean in to show interest, and this is the key that we're trying to get here today. How do you tell a self story that draws people in? So if we look at any story, anybody here that do not enjoy a good story, put up your hand. Anyone don't enjoy a good story? No one. Okay. So think about all the good stories that you have seen, good series, good books, good movies. You most likely will see the simple arc, and that is, it's a character that wants to achieve something, but has to overcome an obstacle to get it. And at the height of his or her frustration, they meet a guide that helps them overcome that help them overcome the obstacle to get to what they want. Think about every single story. Think about the kiddie story or the ones that in the cinema, they follow that pattern. When you start looking at movies, like Dominic and I, we start doing that. Okay, who's the Karate Kid? There we go. Perfect example. Karate. Have any of you seen Karate Kid? Exactly. That's a perfect example. Daniel's son moved to a new town, wanting to impress a girl. He get his butt kicked, so he wants to challenge Cobra Kai, and he tries, he gets his butt kicked again, and then he runs into Miyagi-san. Miyagi-san is the wise old man that help him get better and win the competition. And the point of this is this: I've seen a lot of times that there's a mistake that people make, and let's quickly try that. So take down 3 minutes, right? To actually, you know what? Before we do this, I'm going to get to it now. What I was mentioning is nothing that I share with you is foolproof. So this is what I'm trying to say now. You all know the saying, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink, which is Maddie is drinking right now. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. Now, ladies, think about that statement. That is the most ridiculous statement ever. Why would you want to lead a horse to drink water if the horse is not thirsty? So what I say, why don't we find thirsty horses? Find thirsty horses. So that's what I mean by it's not foolproof. If you're not speaking to a thirsty horse, nothing's going to work. So the key is we need to find thirsty horses. Let me illustrate this. And those of you who have more than 6 months working at the company will probably see this happen. I'm going to quickly draw this out. Some of you might have seen this, some of you might not. I'll explain. Giovanni, I think I showed this to you before. Do you remember this pyramid, Shivani? Okay, Shivani remembers. Okay, 3%, 7%, 90%. All right, let's test your knowledge, Shivani. What is the 90%? Let's see if you remember.
I know it's called a bias pyramid. That
Yes.
the 3% is the people that actually go ahead. But I can't remember the individual ones. 90% is the everyone that you have collectively. Not everyone, but obviously that who you can maybe convert, but they're not likely to go ahead. And then that middle part is kind of what we want to work on, because they're more than likely to say yes. I don't know. I may also be very wrong.
That's close enough, because we had this conversation 2 years ago, 2 months ago. So that's pretty close. This is called a bias pyramid, and this is the thing about the thirsty horses, and that is, if I had to ask any of you, in the next month or two, are you ready? Are you in the market to buy a house, buy a new phone, buy a new laptop, buy a house, buy new earphones? Some of you will put up your hand, but most of you won't. But the point is, every day somebody's selling those products. Life insurance, for example. Am I right? Every day somebody's selling those products. The point of that is, just because somebody fits the demographic doesn't mean they're ready to buy. They might look like a horse, but they're not thirsty. So what this means is 90% of the people that we deal with, they are not thirsty. The 7% that you come into contact with, they are interested, meaning they're on the borderline. Maybe if you're throwing a discount, if you're throwing a value add, they will go with you. The 3% have the budget, they've done the research, they're ready to go. So you will see this. So what I'm trying to say is, thirsty horses are the 7% and the 3%. Our job is to help people move up the pipeline. Get the 90% to become the 7 and the 3. So thirsty horses. So I'm just going to say thirsty horses from now on. So think about it this way, team. If we just get the 7% to join if we just get the 7% to join the 3%, that's 10. You triple your sales. You literally triple your sales. So this is where words come into play. That's why I say sales story. None of us can resist a good sales story. So we're going to find thirsty horses and find out what are we going to say to help the thirsty horses become a karate champion, not get his butt kicked again. Okay, thirsty horses. So at this point, I want you to I wanted to do a quick exercise with you. Do you all have a pen and paper? Something to write on, or pencil, anything to write on. So you work with clients, right? So to the best ability, imagine you have a thirsty horse that you met at let's say at a birthday event, a thirsty horse, because they're giving you certain signals. And the thirsty horse says to you, so Shivani, Amy, Daniela, Sarah, Cara, Natasha, Sydney, Nolu, Maddie, what do you do? Write down what you're going to say to a thirsty horse. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Write it down word for word. Don't overthink it, just 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to set the timer and let's go. 3 minutes starts now. Give me a thumbs up on the emoji thumbs up when you're done. It doesn't need to be perfect, just give it a try. Quick experiment. Okay, Natasha, I see you. Savani, I see you. Give me a second. I need to get something quick. I'll be back. All right. Anybody still busy? Put up your hand if you're still busy. Everybody's finished. Okay, cool. So this is what we're going to do, right? I want you to underline something, and two things going to happen. The first thing is underline anything that in the sentence that you're going to say is about yourself, meaning either BrightSpark tutors, either the product that you sell, the package that you sell, your actual function. Underline that. Anything that's got to do with yourself, underline it. And give me a count, a number, when you're done. 3. Okay, Natasha, 3. Shivani, 3. 3. Oh, wow.
What
3.
what is the count for?
No, just to see, like in the whole sentence that you wrote, Amy, underline anything that mentions yourself. Like as in, I work for this company that does this. This is our product. Anything that's got to do with me, myself, and I.
So count the number of sentences. That's what you mean. So count.
Is that instruction clear? Do I need to? Okay, cool. If not, please ask me. I'll try and explain again because English is not my first language, according to Dominique. All right. So once you have done that, I want you to count how many is left over. So basically anything that's got to do with the client, meaning their challenges, their struggles, their hopes, their aspiration. Do a quick tally. When you're done, tell me which one has the higher number. Is it the stuff about you or about the client? When you're done, you can come off the mic. Let's just do a quick tally. Shivani, I think you're done because you were nodding. What's the score?
It's 2-3, so the 3 being about me.
So it's a tie, 3 and 3.
No, 2-3.
So 3. So you're leading, like the me part is leading by 1.
Yeah, the me part is leading by 1. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Amy, you leading by 1. Me part leading by 1. Daniela?
Same with me.
Oh wow. Okay. Natasha?
So I would say like a third is me and 2/3 is the person.
Okay. Cara?
I think if I'm understanding correctly, I'm about half-half.
Half. Okay.
Mhm.
Sarah?
I've got 1 to 5 with 1 being me.
Okay. Sunny?
Also having one, it's the same like Shivani.
Okay. Nolu?
So I've got 1 for me, and then the rest is 3 for the client.
Okay. Maddie?
I've got about half, but more leaning toward like the client.
Okay. So the point of that exercise is, this is actually pretty good. The point of this exercise is there can only be one hero in a story. There can only be one. And that hero is not you and I. That's the whole point. Because imagine we've all sat next to somebody that talks about themselves the whole time. Me, I do this, I do that. This is the whole point. So people won't tell you that if you just, when you start check out let's say when you drive around, start paying attention to the commercial that's being showed to you. Let's say the billboards, or if any of you listen to ads, the ones that you don't connect with, it's the one that talk about themselves. They make statements about how great they are, how many awards they've done, their team of expert, blah 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 blah. You switch off because there can only be one hero in the story. We are not the hero. Our job is the guide. We are our client is like Daniel-san, and we are like Miyagi-san. Once you click, that's when the transformation happens. That's why we cannot resist a good story, because the story that we like, we see a part of ourselves in there. That's just how our brain works. And this is the basis of the Million Rand Sales story. All right, we're going to get started now. Any questions so far before we start? Like proper? That was just like laying the foundation. Yes, Maddie, go for it.
I have a question because I'm not sure that I did this correctly, and it's gonna like bug me. So, for example, like, because I'm sure most people sound it like this. I'm trying to figure out if I underline the right stuff. So I'll just give the first sentence for example. So I work with a tutoring company that assists with assigning tutors with students from primary to tertiary level. How much of that would be me? Would it just be the I work? And then the tutoring company assists assigning tutors, students, that's the client, right?
Yes. This is not bad. This is not bad. So when I think once we go through this process and you reflect on what you had basically before and after. Now you have before. Now we're going to work on the after. Then you can see the difference. So as an example, I'm going to share with what I say when I run into somebody. And if, let's say we're at an event and I know you're a thirsty horse because I'll be asking you questions. This is what I say. When I work with business owners, I've noticed one thing. We all want to grow, but in order to grow, we need to make sales. Because when we don't make sales, there's no income and there's no business. The challenge is, in the 12 years of school, we have never ever been taught how to sell. And that, for me, I don't think that's right. And that is one of the reasons why I became a sales coach. Because when clients work with me, they learn how to sell more in less time to the right clients, to the point that 63% of my clients have doubled their sales. So if this sounds good to you, we can always meet up and talk. So this is how I do it. So if you listen to what I said now, very seldom I talk about what I like me. Like, these are my qualifications. This is how I made it about the client's problem. They want to grow, but they don't know how to sell. When they work with me, this is the result they get. I don't talk about myself that often. And that takes deliberate practice to get there. This is what we're going to get to. Any questions so far? Question? Okay. Like, please feel free. Like, if there's anything that's not too clear, or if I'm speaking too fast, or if you need more examples, please. Okay, so we're going to get to it now. So please take a pen and paper. This is your roadmap of building the millionaire sales story. And it's as simple as this: GPSRA. I'll explain to you what it means. GPSRA. So we're going to be working it together now. And I'm going to break it down for you. So the G, actually, let me just take a step back and explain to you why I call it GPSRA. Because the first part, the GPS, is like, imagine this is like a coordinates. Like, let's say we use Waze or Google Map. We need to give it a destination, so it knows where to go. So if you get the first part right, the conversation will be right. Hence, I call it GPS. RA is like your retirement annuity. If you take care of it, it will look after you like your retirement annuity. Hence, GPSRA. I'm going to break it down for you one by one of what it means. The first part, the G, and we're going to work it together. So I'm going to pick Natasha and Cora today to use this as an exercise. Reason being, Natasha, I believe you're crafting a lot of newsletters and social media posts, so you're doing a lot of writing, so this will be perfect. And Cora, because I heard the word around the campfire is you're pretty good with words. Is that rumor correct? People are nodding. Okay. So that's why we're choosing you. Okay. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just an example, because Dominic reminded me to share lots of examples so the team can see how this is done. Right. So this is how the G works. Natasha, are you good with that? Cool. So the G is the goal. So in other words, that people come to Bright Sparks because they want to achieve something. Either the kid is struggling, either they want the kid to get into whatever school, or for the first time something happened and something's not right. So they if there's no goal, why will they need you? Why would they need a tutor? So Natasha, let's use give me one to three words of why do you think people come to Bright Sparks, like your thirsty horses? What do they want at the end of the day?
I want the kids to do better marks.
Better marks. So higher marks. What else? Higher marks so they can do what?
I don't know, I guess achieve better, go to university, get better marks there as well, and get a better job.
Okay. They want high marks so their kids can have a opportunity to get to uni. And once they get to uni, it gives them a better chance to a better career opportunities. Okay. So their goal, in other words, is they want the kids to improve their marks so they have a better career opportunity. Does that sound about right? Okay, so that's the goal, 3 words, okay? The second word is pain. I said when there's pain, there's profit. Where there's pain, there's profit. If there's not enough pain, people won't spend money. So pain, in other words, will be the challenge. So they want so Natasha, again, using you as an example, they want their kids to get high marks so they can get into good school, so they can have a good career one day. But what's the challenge right now?
So a pain might be a learning difficulty or a clash with a teacher, so an inability to understand a specific teacher, or just a mental block of some sort of a hurdle, some sort of hurdle in that process of understanding academic content.
Okay, so they have the challenge now. It is they're not grasping the subjects.
Mm.
Is that right? They're not grasping
Yeah.
the subjects. Okay? Not grasping. Okay, not grasping subject. Okay. Now, the third part is, so what is your solution for them as Brightspark? So right now, they want their kids to have a brighter future. In order to do that, they need to get into university. In order to do that, they need to have the marks to qualify. But right now, what's stepping in the way is they're not really grasping the subjects. So what is the solution, your solution for them?
So our solution is providing them with someone to help their child hold their hand, jump the hurdle, so that they can achieve the better marks and everything that is a knock-on effect from that.
Brilliant. So you're gonna so this is where we sell the solution. This is where Brightsparks come in, right? So the goal. So the first 2 part. Imagine this being Daniel-san. This is Miyagi. Miyagi provides him the hold your hand. That's a guiding role. So to help them jump through hurdles. And what you so there's something else that you mentioned, jump through hurdles, and there was something else that you mentioned that I missed.
Just guide them through, but I think Amy put in comments probably also is better to build confidence. So to make sure that they know that they actually have the ability deep within them to jump the hurdles by themselves.
This is very good. This is a very good solution. You see, so this solution is very different. They're saying, I work for a tutor company. Tutor company is what you do, but it's not what people come to you for. Is that making sense? Tutor company is tutor company. That's like the product. But why people are coming to you is because they're looking for a tutor that can help them build confidence and guide them through the way so they can jump through hurdles, so they can be confident to write the exams by themselves. That's the solution. Okay? And then we get to the R and the result. So what is the result when they work with a tutor that can do that? What happens then, Natasha?
Ideally an increase in marks, definitely growth and understanding, and I think almost invariably a confidence boost.
Okay, so because they have a guide that is there to guide them through the way, to help them unpuzzle some of the problems that they have, what happens is their marks improve, so do their confidence. Okay, the last part is action. So let's say if you are speaking to somebody and they're thirsty, or they're leaning to say, wow, this sounds really good. What is your call to action to them? Is it that filling a form today, or what is the call to action?
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on the medium. I suppose on a call, the call to action would be, it's super easy. I can set you up with a learning consultant right now, and we can get you a tutor, no problem. And then, I mean, on a newsletter or whatever, it's call to action equals button. Here is a button to press.
There we go. So team, I don't know if you saw this now, but basically we built the story by using this method now. So this is a conversation. I'm not pushing products. So I'm just going to rehash. So let's say if I'm sitting next to a parent and I can see they're talking about the frustration the kid has, and like we really want them to have a good chance of getting to university so they can have a good career. And you can see the mom and dad is stressing. So something like this, I'm already formulating. You know what? So as an example, how in Natasha's Tasha's case will be, look, you know what? Lots of parents go through what you go through. It's totally normal. We all want our kids to have high marks so they can get to university, so they can get a good job one day. The challenge is a lot of times that the child or the learner is not grasping certain subjects that's preventing them from reaching the next level. So what we do is we help you to match a tutor so the tutor can help your child build confidence, be the guide, and jump through those hurdles. And the result is they end up having good marks so they can have confidence because they've done this by themselves. If this sounds good to you, I can set you up with a learner consultant. We can get you started. GPSRA. We literally just built a story now. So you can use this social media post, you can use this, have conversation, but bear in mind this takes practice. I mean, this is literally like draft number 1, just from 3-4 minutes of conversation that we're having, Natasha. But once you learn that, once you've done this at least 7 times, which Natasha for you is probably like a week, because you do like 1 post a week or something, right? Or how many posts do you do a week, Natasha?
It's new and exciting, but last week was a few. It was 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, so this will take you less than a month. Once you do that, it's engraved in your brain because you start paying attention to what are some of the bits and pieces. When we do that, it's very, very different because we're not selling. We're inviting them into a story that they can see their learners achieve. And we are just, we meaning Brightspark tutors, we're just a guide to help them do it. So when we're selling on value, we're not talking about price anymore. We are, but we're not. Because what's the price you want to put on your kid's future? Is it 50 Rand more? Is it worth it? All right. Any questions so far? Any questions? Dominic asks, how do you do this on the phone? Can you elaborate, Dominic?
So there's clearly a structure to it, talking about the problem, well, the pain, and then the challenges or problem is, this is what we can do. So on a call, it might not be maybe as structured as, say, an email where you can, or a web page or something where you can put all the questions that somebody might have or the section. So is it something you can interchange the different parts at different points, or do you recommend doing it like kind of trying to stick to the order?
So if I'm not mistaken, when the consultant get on the call, they'll be going through a few questions first, right? What subjects do you want to? So Shivani, you're on the phone a lot. So what are some of the questions you'll be asking them when you get on the call with them?
So generally it's I have a standard line. I forgot the line. What are your concerns? I ask them, what are your concerns? What is your like son or daughter, if I've identified that, what are they struggling with? And then I ask them, how can we assist? Yeah.
When you ask questions, Shivani, so for example, Shivani's on the call and you're already getting those information. So you're already getting a lot of the so-called meat to build the ingredients to build the burger. So as an example, let's use a thirsty horse that you recently got off the phone. What was the challenge?
The challenge was the learner just moved to CAT, and they're in grade 11, so they've missed all the grade 10 work. That was the problem. That's
the problem. And then why did the? I mean, I know it sounds like a silly question, but I need to find out anyway. What was the end goal for this learner? So he or she can do what? Besides
so it's to catch up, because they wanted her to do, well, the mother seems to want to send her to university for like IT kind of vibes.
Aha, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So you obviously know this from asking them. So before you do the GPSRA, you ask the questions. They will tell you all these things. So this on a phone call, for example, will be a great way to summarize what you discussed. So everything you ask questions, you write it down. You can fill it. You can actually write down GPSRA, and while you're talking to them, you can fill it in and say, Miss. So what was the woman's name? Do you remember, Shivani?
No, I don't remember now. No, it's the lady and the daughter are the same name. Tembelile, I think. Tembelile. Yeah, I think so.
Let's call it Tembi for now because it's a tongue twister for me. Okay. So Tembi, I just want to, so as an example, this is how I would have done the recap. So Tembi, I just want to make sure that we're on the right page. You said to me right now, your daughter is struggling a little bit because she just moved into a new school, and I know that's the pain, and I know you would like her to get into IT. That's what you want the child to do. A lot of parents, the goal, want the child to do well so they can have a better chance in life. In your case, you want Temi to get into IT. That's the goal. The challenge you have now is because she just moved into a new school, into cash, she doesn't really know what to do. She's struggling a little bit. That's the pain. So hence we recommend XYZ. I can use this to summarize the call. It doesn't need to be right in the beginning because we don't know yet. That's why we ask questions. It just gives you a very quick kind of like a shortcut to build and summarize and to ask for the selling in a non-sleazy way, in a non-forceful way. Dominic, did that answer the question?
Yes, I'm assuming you could also include, what we do, and that would be summarizing and then giving them that call to action as well, right?
Yeah. So as an example, I mean, by now, Shivani probably recommended something. So that's where the solution comes into play. So that is why we recommended this and this and this. And when we've noticed when learners do this, then you can say the result is their marks going up, their confidence goes up, so on and so forth and so forth. So you can use this to summarize, because a lot of time they are just sharing things, but nobody's summarizing their thoughts. So once you summarize it, and Shivani, I think I mentioned this to you before, the magic word sometimes they will say is, that's right, you're right. Yeah, you're nodding because you know they've said that before. When you hear them say, that's right, you're right, that means there's the meeting of the minds. That's when they know that you understood them. That's right. It's very subtle. When you start listening on the call, wait for them to say, that's right. Then you know. Got it. Okay, anybody else? Can anybody give me, I'm just curious because I see we have 15 minutes left. Can anybody give me an instance why or where you think this can't work in this industry? I'm just curious.
To be honest, Charles, I think something that might come up is obviously something that we deal with all the time is money sensitivity. Because we sit and we can craft our wonderful story and we can hit all the pain points, we can guide the roadmap like you've given it to us. But I think the challenge that we face a lot of the time is to try and get that point across to the clients that we are a premium service. Our tutors that we have are the best of the best because that's all we deal in. And a lot of the times clients are going to look at it, okay, well, you can give me a 400 Rand an hour tutor, but they can give me a 200 Rand an hour tutor. I'm going to try the 200 Rand an hour tutor first. If that's not working, maybe I'll come back to you.
Okay, so does that sound like a thirsty horse to you or not, Sarah?
I think we struggle with that in general because what might look like a thirsty horse to us, it's an involved parent, it's a parent that's concerned about their kid, all of those kinds of things. They might be in a position where even though they are looking like the client that we want, they might be at a point in time where it's not something that they can particularly afford. So I know obviously we've kind of had this conversation previously about the ideal client, but at the same time, you can't always pick up from a phone call whether or not this person is going to be exactly in the money pocket where we want them to be.
Absolutely, Sarah. That's why I say this is not foolproof. All this is give people a better chance of signing up with PriceBox because there's a market for everything. There's a market for ShopRite. There's a market for Pep. There's a market for Woolies. It's different. It's different target market. I've actually noticed this. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen this before. So please let me know if you have seen this. Not in a mall, but in a strip mall. In a strip mall, you will never see ShopRite and Woolies in the same strip mall. Why? Because it's different target markets. It's different target market. That's it is. And Sarah, it takes a lot of discipline to say, I'm so sorry, we're not the right fit for us, for you. We can't win everyone. This just gives us a better chance of targeting. And I'm not disputing with you. Oh, money is a real budget. I mean, sorry, the budget is a real thing. Anything else besides that, Sarah? Besides the price?
I think that's probably one of our biggest stumbling blocks. I mean, I've taken quite a number of calls from clients myself, where they are desperate. They are at the point where they don't know what to do with their kid anymore. They've tried everything. So you get that call from a client that they really, really want to do this. And then you can even go through the entire process with them. I mean, we can get all the way up to the invoicing part, and you've sent them now 3 payment reminders, and they're just not getting over that final block. So I think that for me, that is probably the largest stumbling block that I get, because again, we all know what we're like on calls. We all know our product. We all know the kind of service that we're providing to them, and we convey that message over the phone. But a lot of the time, the clients will sit there saying, again, price sensitivity, or maybe this isn't the right time, or the comment that I've actually been getting a lot now that I think about is that, oh, the school is now providing me a free service, so I'm going that direction. It's like, oh, okay.
Look, that's reality, right? That's reality, because we all know, I mean, right in the beginning, one of the questions I asked the team is, do you think there's lots of competition? Everybody's hand went up. That's the reality, eh? It's like, imagine, Sarah, imagine if we're selling t-shirts, how much more competition we're going to have. Even Tom, Dick, and Harry selling t-shirts. You can buy from anywhere you want, from 100 a t-shirt to $1,000 a t-shirt. The competitions are plenty. So let me rephrase this question. So Sarah, if you have to think, if there's a magic wand, what would the solution look like? Talking about the price now.
Yeah, I was about to say, to the price sensitivity question.
Yeah, if there's a magic, what would the solution look like from you? Because you deal with clients a lot.
You dangle the carrot. And it's something that you do on the phone with them a lot of the time as well, is that especially if they're humming and hawing with us over the phone as far as price is concerned, that magic line, let me speak to my manager about this, and then I can come back to you quickly and we can see what we can do. You dangle the carrot, because even just the fact that you are willing to put in the effort to go, like, listen, I understand you're in a really, really bad place. I know you need your kid to have these lessons, that kind of thing. Let me see what I can do for you. That, a lot of the time, at least keeps them on the hook.
Sarah, you mentioned something very valuable, and thank you for bringing that up. I've seen case studies like that. The fact that you said that made them feel like you went out of your way trying to help them. So even if they don't sign up with you, you at least made them feel that you try. So thank you for bringing it up. That's very, very valuable. Amy, I see you made a comment. You wrote down that although it's a me comment, I will sometimes say we work with many families who are experiencing the same thing and have had great results. So just give me some context. Where are you actually using it? Is it when they give you objection, or where does it actually come in?
So they've come to you with this problem, whether it's like the low marks or the confidence or anything like that. You just validate that you hear what they're saying and you say, yeah, this is what we do. And we have a track record, and we've worked with other families in similar situations, and yeah, it was worth it for them to spend money on a premium service, and yeah, just give them a little bit more confidence in where they're spending their money, rather than just saying, yes, we have tutors for that. And
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, okay.
So Amy, think about it this way. The way you phrase this comment, we've worked with many families who are experiencing the same thing as you. So you are not making it about you at all. You're inviting them to say that we have worked with many families just like you. So they see themselves. It's not about BriceBox is amazing. We just work with many families that's going through the same thing as you.
Yeah,
so that's
I mean, it just makes it easier maybe for them to justify the price. They're like, okay, they've done it before, they can do it, like, for my kid.
Look,
not just like a closed-ended, yes, we can do that, we do maths, we do.
Yeah,
like, it's more emotive, I suppose.
Look, you know what? The one good thing that's on BriceBox that helps you a cut above the rest is your Google reviews. The last time I checked, I think it was 4.9, somewhere around there. So something that perhaps worth pushing a little bit more. So Shivani, as an example, if you're speaking to somebody's eyeing, say to them, listen, ma'am, Tembi, do you read Google reviews before you go to a certain place, or do you trust Google reviews and listen to what people say? If they say yes, and say, by the way, we have 4.9, is that good enough for you? is that rating good enough for you? And leave it as that. We can't win every single time. We can't. We only have 8 hours a day. So anybody else have any other questions? Dom, I know we got about 15 minutes, 8 minutes left. Is there anybody else wants to try their thing or anything like that?
I think you want to do Cara's one, right?
Yes. Cara?
Sorry, Cara, you're not getting off the hook.
All right, Cara, let's give yours a try.
We actually have till past, but we just obviously trying to leave some margin.
Oh, so Maddie, so I remember you had a question. So while I'm doing the role play with Natasha, do you see how this played out and maybe answer the question that you had about some of the things that you wrote? Did that answer
Yeah,
any?
I think I counted mine completely wrong. I figured it out after your first one, so it's like maybe 2 to 16 now that I understand it. Yeah, so I knew it couldn't have been right because most of the stuff is like what we say on the phone, so I was like, this doesn't seem right.
Okay, so thank you for bringing that up, and sorry if I didn't explain it clear enough. I apologize.
No, I got it right in the beginning. Thank goodness, because I was like, I really don't like speak about myself that much. So thanks, you made me feel better.
So the good thing is, team, and I mean this, like the fact that most of the things that you've written down is not about you, that's a very, very good start, because not every company does that, eh? Like just think about every time you get a call from a telesales person, you don't want to speak to them while they're talking about themselves the whole time. There's a reason, because we don't like that, right? So Cara, so a thirsty horse. What are some of 1 or 2 words that you can describe the thirsty horse?
A lot of what Tash said I could kind of resonate with as well, but something that I also thought of was something relating to motivation, developing better study skills, or just a desire in the learner to do better rather than just getting better marks, if that makes sense.
So this is a goal. They want to do better because of what?
Not only just to get into university or pass their exams, but to kind of create a culture of learning, wanting to, that motivation, I suppose. Am I making sense? I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I'm asking you. This is your thirsty horse. I don't know what your thirsty horse. I don't deal with your thirsty horse. So I don't know.
I think something that I've come across a lot is that in addition to just a tutor that is able to teach, someone who can be almost a mentor, I suppose.
So this is the goal. This is the goal of the learner, not the tutor. The goal of the learner that I'm referring to, the G part.
The G.
Yeah, the goal.
Okay, I think I may have written this down because I was writing down as we were going along. Yeah, basically just a desire to enjoy studying, perhaps, rather than just to, pass an exam, to cultivate a culture of learning.
Okay. Does that happen?
Am I way off? Please tell me if I'm way off.
No, I'm not judging you. I'm just, there's a question mark. I don't know of any parent that wants to create a culture of learning. I didn't grow up in that household, so I'm a bit confused. My parents will say you walk past, and that was the end of the conversation.
Well, perhaps because I think for some clients, maybe their child is getting 30% and they want them to pass. But for some clients, they're getting 70% and they want them to get 90%.
Okay, so how would you summarize it? They want them to what? Have
to not just pass, to achieve, to prosper, to flourish academically, rather than just meet the minimum goals, I suppose.
You know what? You mentioned a good one now. So the goal of the parent is for them not just to pass the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Okay. So the goal is for them to not just pass the bare minimum. Okay. So what is the current challenge right now? of the learner?
I suppose the challenge of the learner beyond just not passing is perhaps not enjoying what they're doing, not seeing what their learning will do in the long term, perhaps.
Like, where will I use algebra or geometry in life?
Right. So what is the long-term benefits of learning how to use fractions?
That's a very good question. I still don't know. So please tell
No,
me.
I agree. But I'm not a tutor, so but I suppose not just with specific things, but like I mentioned earlier, that kind of reaching their full potential in terms of overcoming a challenge, knowing that they are capable enough, building confidence.
No, that's a good one. Okay, you know what? I like that. I'm just writing this down. So the goal of the parent is they don't want the child to just pass the bare minimum. The challenge is they want their child to know that they're capable of doing so much better. That's a challenge. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so what is your solution in this case? They right now, the parents don't want them just to do the bare minimum, but the challenge now is for the learner to understand that they're more capable than they know. So what's the Brightspark solution to that?
Brightspark solution, I suppose, would be to provide a tutor that is not just capable and experienced, but very empathetic, I suppose. Perhaps someone who has had similar struggles, who can relate to the learner, perhaps.
I like that. I like that. So the solution is we are providing you, to the best of our ability, to provide you with a tutor that can relate to the learner, because perhaps him or her have had the same struggles in the past. That's the solution. Okay. So what is the results when that happens? So when they work with this tutor, what is the result? Think about what you mentioned, from the goal to the pain. So if you work with a tutor, what is the result?
Ideally, the learner would realize their true potential, see the benefits. Perhaps if they look at the tutor and see what they've overcome and what they were able to do, see a similar path for themselves, build confidence. Just essentially feel like they are capable of doing more, I suppose.
Okay. So the result is, in the process, the learner will perhaps realize their true potential and start to see life differently. Okay. So the call to action is what then? What do you want them to do? Now that they heard the story, they're like, wow, this sounds good. What's next, Cara?
Are you referring to what my role would be in terms of calling them to action?
Yeah. What action would you like them to take to become clients of Brightspark tutors? So they say, sounds good, this is amazing. Give them a call to action. What's next? What do I do?
I mean, it could be something, well, it kind of depends on how they would prefer to approach it. I could either say, you can totally visit the website and find out as much as you want to, or you can give me your email address directly and I'll reach out to you with everything that you require.
Okay, can you give me something that's more direct? Because call to action needs to be something that's very, very simple and clear cut. So as an example, when you go to the shops, and you go to Woolies or Checkers, whatever, you buy everything you want. You go to the checkout point. They normally say to you two things: cash or card. That's very straightforward. Call to action: cash or card, and obviously a loyalty card these days. Cash or card. Your call to action needs to be that clear, because if it's instead of saying, you know what, do you want to look around a little bit more before you come to my account? Do you know what I mean? It needs to be very, very clear. Cash or card, because they want cash or card. They will need to pay cash or card. So What do you need? What do you think it is in this case? Something as clear as God.
Cash to card could be something as simple as, we can definitely help you with that. And then go from there. But we can help you with that. Like you mentioned, the Google reviews. If you want a high quality, clearly, because reviews come from clients, they don't come from us. So if you want a high quality company that is not just going to help you to pass, but to meet that initial goal that you mentioned, so I think a simple cash or card would be, that's your goal. We can help. We can do that. We're confident that we can help you.
Or perhaps we can help you. Here's filling this form. We'll be in touch. Something like.
Give me your email address. I got you.
Okay, cool. All right. So Cara, was that daunting? The process that we went through now, the GPSR, was that daunting?
In what respect? Because for me, just like you mentioned, I'm better with words than speaking. So this whole process has been very daunting.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if
No, not at all. I like a challenge. So, but the process itself was not daunting. I think because I like to feel somehow connected with what I'm doing. So the whole empathy thing and understanding and ultimately, even if a student is getting 30%, we still want them to reach those 80s and 90s. So the process itself was not daunting. I think it seems natural the more you kind of think about it.
Thank you for saying that. You capture the whole essence. It's natural to think like that. I don't want people to think this is mechanical. Once you understand it and start, it becomes natural. Because you're making them the hero. So think about like what you did now. We made them the hero by talking about their people's goals, and we talk about the current challenge. We're only coming third, halfway. Then we talk about this is how we can do. Again, when it comes to results, we're making the learner the hero. Lastly, call to action. That's when there's 2 out of 5 is about us. The rest is about the learner. Right. Team, anything else, Dom? Amy, anything else you
I see Shivani posted a question, can't we recommend a package at this point? Or is that call to action, Shivani? Maybe just expand on that.
Yeah, expand please.
Yeah, so like based on Kara's story, wouldn't the call to action, like when you said cash a card, I would go then, okay, how about the 4-lesson package or maybe the 8-lesson package? So is that my call to action? Is it specific to me, or is this like we're talking about like if we meet someone randomly? Because I think if we meet someone randomly, then we would go like Kara's method, okay, give me your email address, I'll reach out to you with all of the information. As opposed to if I'm on a call, I would assume my call to action is now, this is what we have. Would you like to go for it?
Yeah, this is the package we recommend. Let's proceed. Let's start next week. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're talking at a braai, then there's no package. There's nothing. They haven't seen anything yet. So the right thing is either give me your number, give me your email address, we'll be in contact. But if you're speaking to somebody and you've spoken about the package, they like it, let's do it. All right. Any other questions that's unclear, or you feel any burning questions?
One from my side, Charles, is there value in using emotions, like as in the word, the description of the emotions they might be feeling, like I think Cara mentioned feeling capable in the results, so actually referring to that in the story, like your child may feel more confident, or feel more capable, or feel less stressed out.
Are you talking about Cara specific? Are you talking about Cara specific as a learner consultant, or are you talking about like in general, like even Shivani speaking on the phone?
Yeah, in general. I'm just referring to that Cara mentioned the feeling, which for me, I always think that the feelings are quite powerful, because people are often coming to us stressed or struggling, or the child's in tears, and that's created the urgency. So, you know, with the pain, with bringing in emotions, or the actual words that they might be feeling, would that be a tool?
If they have, you know what, Dominic, that's a great question. And just from what I have seen, absolutely, to say that we see many parents come to us stressed out. Some learners are in tears because they might think they're not worthy, they're not smart enough. We got you. You know, we got you. We got you because our process is to this and this and this. And these are the results, and this and this and this. Absolutely, because we're not robots. We're not robots. Anybody else? I guess that's it.
Thank you, Charles. Yeah, thanks, team. If there are any follow-up questions, or you kind of mull on it, or something comes to mind, you know, yeah, Charles always has an open door. Or you can ask me, or whatever. I think it's always good to assimilate and like process, and even apply once you've applied some of these to your calls or your emails. If you have questions around how you could apply further, or something doesn't make sense, then I think you have access to reach out. It will help cement the learning even further.
Yeah.
So otherwise,
Look, last thing I want to say that if you want to get better at what you do, then I need you to please practice. Don't try. If you try, you will fail. You need to practice. So this is what I mean, that when we try something for the first time, it goes horribly wrong. We most likely don't enjoy it. Think about the first time you drive. If you try to drive the first time, you stole the freaking car. There's so many indicators, the seat buckle, we all know how it's like. So if I ask you, how was your first driving test? And you're like, oh my gosh, it was horrible. But once you practice, you get better and better and better. So if you only try once, it's going to fail miserably. But if you practice, you will get better. That's all I want to say.
Thanks. And thanks everyone for the time, and have a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, lady. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, everybody.